Okay, so it was story time hour at the dementia wing of the White House today, and little Donnie needed some attention. So he has all of his cronies in a circle and all the fucking press that he's allowed in. And so, and he just had a bunch of rambling nonsense to say today. So let's watch.
An even bigger event next year as we host the official 2026 FIFA World Cup. That's the big one. The World Cup tournament.
Yeah, we know, dipshit, because the world, as in the world, is competing. The fuck are you talking about? Like, that's the big one. Yeah, we know, dipshit.
This will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, even for our country, because frankly, this goes to countries, everybody wants it. I guess it's going all over the world.
Everybody wants it. You sound like shit, Grandma. Lay off the packs, Mary. Okay, next. The fuck? So, of course, they're talking about the fucking World Cup because it's a big fucking issue because who the fuck wants to come to America? They're fucking demonizing immigrants and even tourists. A lot of people trying to get into the country to contribute to the tourism economy have been held up at the border, held up by ICE. So it's not very reassuring to anybody that wants to watch those games maybe in person. So a lot of people are just not going to take the risk because what the fuck is the point of going to your country if there's a chance we could get arrested just for being there? No, thank you.
Secretary Rubio's team at the State Department has worked tirelessly with the Department of Homeland Security to ensure.
Oh, bullshit. Bullshit. In the Oval Office, under the fucking resolute desk, fucking Donald Trump has one of those things, those 4 balls that like hang from the fucking thing that are on people's desks sometime, and they like go click, 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 click. Donald Trump has one of those, and they're Marco Rubio's balls and Mike Johnson balls, and they just go doom, 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 doom all day long because they do not have them. He has them in his desk.
Sure that soccer fans from all around the world are properly vetted and able to come to the United States next summer easily. Before I took office, it would often take a year to get a travel visa, but because of the administration's hard work now.
And what would not? To get a tourist visa? Is that what he said? A tourist visa? It would not take a year to get a visa. You think it would take people a year to get in the country? Just to like come for a vacation? For a few days? Like a weekend? A week? That's not how... No. A year? For a tourist visa? Do you even... How... What?
In more than 80% of the world, think of that, the wait time for a visa is 60 days or less. Secretary Rubio's team at...
What the fuck is he talking about? Okay, so I looked it up, and if you were from any of these countries, there's a visa waiver program. So if you're staying for less than 90 days, which I'm assuming anybody coming for the fucking World Cup will be staying for less than 90 days, there's a long list of countries that can just have they don't even need a visa. It gets waived. So unless you're from one of the other countries not listed here, you would need to get a visa, but it still does not take that long. Like, if it took a year to get a visa, a tourist visa, people would not come. People would never have come. Like, what would be the point? Okay, puppy killer, Kristi Noem. She's on it again. She literally was in the news like this past weekend for embezzling like millions of dollars into like somebody that worked for her, something like that, and that she's connected to the company. I don't remember exactly, but it was like a lot of money. It was like millions of dollars that was spent on the campaign. I don't remember how much was funneled. Oh, we don't know exactly how much was funneled to, But it's, who knows how much she actually spent on her fucking ad campaign, fucking playing dress up. Jesus.
With our cities to make sure that security needs are met. We put out, every department has been working, but the Department of Homeland Security is working on making sure people can travel here safely. They know that they're welcome to the United
The fuck you have, Christy? The fuck you have? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, that's not true. That's actually not true. You have not. You've been doing quite the opposite. We see it all the time on social. Every time we open up social media, most of us see fucking ICE terrorizing people on the streets just for existing.
United States, that each of these events will be cooperative events with our cities to make sure that security needs are met. We put out,
which means that ICE will be crawling all over that bitch like fucking ants on a fucking hail, bitch.
over $600 million worth of grants to the 11 host cities that they'll have the advantage to partner on technologies and screening technologies, drone technology, counter UAS as well will be implemented. So every...
Jesus Christ, what for? What? There is security, a lot of security precautions put in place for like big events like these in other countries, but like I've seen videos people post online about how they need it, like forgot that they need like a clear bag to get into the concert venue. Honey, that's not normal. That's not normal. I need you to know that's not normal. That doesn't happen. Been to many concerts, many hockey games, many like big stadium events, big events in person. Like that's not normal. No. I saw a video recently and it was like somebody said they're always looking for the snipers when they're at big events. And I was like, what? Whoa, what? Snipers? That's okay. You guys need help.
Every department has been working, but the Department of Homeland Security is working on making sure people can travel here safely. They know that they're welcome to the United States, that each of these events...
No, the fuck we don't. No, the fuck we do not. No, the fuck we don't. You puppy killing bitch. Fuck you. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, nobody knows that it's safe. We don't know that. We don't feel that. We're actually like... Most of us are telling you the complete opposite because tourism is down pretty much all around. Oh, God. This bitch never shuts the fuck up.
Also with Marco's leadership at the State Department, making sure that people that come in on these tourist visas are coming in thoroughly vetted, just like anyone who would travel here, and they would come and enjoy our country, and then they would go home. And go home in a timely manner. So we're excited about that, and we're excited to partner with...
Excited about that, and we're excited to partner. And fuck you, Christy. What the fuck? Like, what is this obsession? I don't understand. Like, what? Why are you people so scared of people from different countries? What are you scared of? What are you scared of? Is it because you know that you're like one of the dumbest countries in the Western world, and that means that if people start immigrating there, maybe like people might get smarter? Something to think about.
To you, Mr. President, on creating memories for people around the world that will make them not just fall in love with the United States, but also fall in love with the sport of soccer.
You look like a Muppet. Fuck you. I swear to God, one of these days the press is gonna come over the fucking desk with the camera, and Stephen Miller is gonna be there, and he has his ass up. Whoever the fuck his ass, Stephen Miller is gonna be behind the fucking camera, and he has his arm up everybody's fucking ass, just telling them what the fuck. Like, this is them, Muppets, like Jim Henson style, bitch. That is Stephen Miller behind the desk with his hands up everybody's fucking ass, telling them what to say and when to say it. The fuck?
Thank you. How many games are there, Johnny?
Also with Marco's leadership at the State Department.
Marco don't do shit. Fuck Marco. I can't stand this motherfucker.
Watching, and it really is. It's like having, many Super Bowls. Actually, each game is almost a Super Bowl. Some of them are, I guess you could.
Each game is a Super Bowl. We're having so many Super Bowls. It's almost like they're all Super Bowls. Yeah. I don't know anything about sports, but it's like that, yeah? What is a Super Bowl? Can I pee in it? What? Sorry.
Say bigger than Super Bowls, I guess, when you get to the
Who is the bowl for me? Am I going to have the cup? The cup is mine, yes? No, fat ass.
finals. It's of that level or more. Much more. Worldwide, I think it's got to be more. So.
I guess when you get to the finals, it's of that level or more. What is the Super Bowl? What is the Super Bowl? Like, what is that? Is it the beginning of something? Is it the fine? Is it the final game?
That's great. When Johnny and I made the deal, I never thought I was going to be president because I was supposed to be retired by that time. And I got a little lucky. So.
No! Well, I guess, yeah, you did get lucky. We got all fucking unlucky because old motherfuckers like you, with your crypt keeper hands, hold on to fucking power until the fucking light goes off in your fucking mind. Well, the lights are on, but ain't nobody fucking shopping. That's what I should have said. Till nobody's fucking shopping up there. God. It's like, what's that motherfucker from Lord of the Rings? Gollum? That is every single old ass bitch in Congress and in politics right now because they're sitting there. They have their power. Like, they're like, my precious. That's.
Help of the president's always news. Your voice sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid about something having to do with trade in a country, and I straightened it out. But I blew my stack at these people.
Interesting choice of words. Who'd you blow? Sorry, wait. Sorry. I'm not sorry. Who'd you blow? Bubba? Don't say blow. Blew. You blew. Who'd you blew? Anyways. Could you imagine if any other president in the history of fucking presidents was like, I was shouting at people because they were stupid? Having something to do with trade in a country. I don't know. I blew my stack at them. At these people. Could you imagine? Fox News went on a stage 5 meltdown. 5 alarm fires over Obama wearing a tanned suit.
Well, it sounds like there's a follow-up there, but can I ask you about Venezuela? You suggested...
Sounds as the what?
It sounds like there's a follow-up there, but can I ask you about
I
Venezuela?
thought you said there was a polyp, and I said, I don't know.
Okay, Grandma. Okay, Grandma. What? Yeah, maybe you need a hearing aid.
A decision about what you want to do next about Venezuela. I understand you don't want to tip your hand. Is there anything you're ready to rule out at this point? Are you ruling out U.S. troops on the ground?
No, I don't rule out that. I don't rule out anything. We just have to take care of Venezuela. They dumped hundreds of thousands of people into our country from prisons. Nobody knows better than this young lady right here. She's done an incredible job with Tom.
Young lady? She's almost 60. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. The puppy killer? Fuck that. Anyways, hundreds of thousands of people into our country from... No, they have not. Nobody has ever dumped hundreds of thousands of people into your country from prisons. The only time I've ever heard of people dumping people from prisons into your country was Cuba, and you welcomed them with open arms because you were trying to sell a lie to the Cuban people. And it did work quite a bit, but not entirely. But you fucked up there. But you wanted them. You took them and you let them free. That was your choice.
Home and all of your people have been amazing. You know, we have a tight border right now. Nobody comes in.
Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to. Fuck that.
Up on Venezuela. In these talks with Maduro, is there any...
Multiple January 6ers, which he pardoned like all of them, have like gone on to commit violent crimes, domestic abuse, molestation, rape, like whole 9 yards. Like these people were like unhinged, and he's just like, oh yeah, whatever.
Thing that he could say or do that would allow you to feel like he could stay with your support? Is there anything that he could say that you would be, okay, you can stay?
It's hard to say that. You know, the question's a little bit tricky. I don't think it was meant to be tricky. It's just that, look, he's done tremendous damage to our country, primarily because of drugs, but really because we have that problem with other countries too. But more than any other country, the release of prisoners into our country has been a disaster. He's emptied his jails. Others have done that also.
Nope. That's a lie. Just a lie. That just never happened. Just didn't happen. Certainly didn't happen in the past year. Certainly didn't happen in the past 8. Since you started campaigning for president the first time. So, what the fuck are you talking about? And Nicolas Maduro? Yeah, he's a dictator. So are you. The only reason you don't like him is he's a dictator and not in the way that you like it. Like, fuck you. You bend the knee to dictators. So, this whole issue with fucking Maduro is bullshit, and it has been from the start. And you've murdered more than like 80 people for no fucking reason other than the fact that you want to fucking pillage the fucking country for fucking oil and natural resources, like the fucking piece of shit that you are and then America is, because that's all you've done for the past 45 fucking years.
At a certain period of time, I'll be talking to him.
Mr. President,
Fuck this bitch. I fucking hate him.
And the World Cup. The new mayor-elect of Seattle is a Democratic Socialist. Seattle has
or beyond. I watched her.
Right, Seattle has
that's more than socialism.
Right, Seattle has 6 World Cup games. How close are you going to be watching that city with the crime in that city?
Well, if we think, and I'll have to speak to...
What crime? Seattle? Seattle, Washington? Do these people live in real life? Like, please, I implore you to go look up the top 10 states with the highest crime rates. And then go look at the voting records of those states. I assure you, 9 out of 10 of them, at least, would be red states.
To Johnny about this, but if we think that the mayor of LA is incompetent, everybody knows that. You know that I was there, I guess, 2...
What? Wait, I thought we were talking about Katie Wilson. Wait a minute, how did we get here? Wait. Okay, come back to Earth, Grandma.
Watching that city with the crime in that city.
Well, if we think, and I'll
Who fucking asked that question? You dipshit. The fuck?
have to speak to Johnny about this, but if we think that the mayor of LA is incompetent, everybody knows that. You know
Everybody knows that. No, nobody fucking knows that, you asshole. We all know you're incompetent. Most people know you probably can't read. Most people can tell that you're probably demented. Most people can know that you wear diapers. You shit yourself all the time. Most people know that you look like shit. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No, most people can tell that that ballroom that you're building looks like shit. And it's abhorrent that you would even dare to do so when your country is in such times of economic struggle, when you're cutting SNAP benefits. Like, you are just a piece of shit all around.
That I was there, I guess, 2 years ago, and we got all the federal permits taken care of, far more complex than the state permits and the city permits. And Lee Zeldin, who's a superstar, got everything taken care of. The toughest part, having to do with the fires, that should have never happened. If they let the water come in, it wouldn't have happened, right? Do you know that people aren't building their houses yet? I mean, can you imagine that? And if we didn't go in early on, Christy, I think we can say it. Well, the head of their police department said it. They were unable to handle. You would have had, not only did you have the fires, but you would have had total insurrection in Los Angeles. And if we didn't go in, and the head of, the gentleman, he said it, and he said it strongly. He said we could not have done it without the federal government. We did a great job.
The man.
If we think there's going to be a sign of any trouble, I would ask Johnny to move that to a different city. We have a lot of cities that would love to have it, number one, and we'll do it very safely. So
A lot of cities that don't have the capacity. Just saying. I'll let him
if
finish.
we think there's a problem in Seattle where you have a very, very liberal/communist mayor, I would say, it's certainly beyond just liberal. I watched her over the weekend. Wow, that's another beauty we got there. But if we think there's going to be a problem, Johnny, can I say we will move? I don't think you're going to have this problem, but we're going to move the event to some place where it's going to be appreciated and safe.
Yeah, well, I think safety and security is the number one priority.
So you'll be fine in Seattle. Like, what the fuck? I'm speechless because what did he just say? What the fuck? Okay, so if you're ever dealing with somebody with dementia, a lot of times you'll be talking to them and it's like one idea and then it's half thought out and then it goes to another idea and another idea and it just keeps on going like to different ideas. It's called a flight of ideas. That's what you just witnessed. Because what the fuck? Talking about the mayor of Seattle, and then all of a sudden he's like, well, if we think that the mayor of LA is incompetent, everybody knows that. What? Nobody knows that, first of all. Second of all, we're talking about Katie Wilson. Third of all, what the fuck? If they let the water come in, when? Like, you can't just say things as if everybody knows what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I can like surmise what he's talking about. I know, but like, you're like, this is nonsense. You can't talk in shorthand at a press briefing as the president. Like, oh, everybody knows. Oh yeah, the mayor of LA. Everybody knows that she's incompetent, or not even a she. Everybody knows the mayor of LA is incompetent. Not a name, not a pronoun. If they let the water, who's they? The water come in, that wouldn't have happened. If we, his name is Gianni, and he was calling him Johnny. Oh, wow. Wasn't he? Anyways, if they let the water come in, that wouldn't have happened. I think they left a part out, but. And he started talking about. Can you imagine people are building houses here? Like. What are you talking about? Like, what? What? None of these thoughts were fully thought out. And, like, could you hear some, like, if I felt like I heard Christy Nome in the background going, like, not, no. You're demented. Like, I don't understand this. Can we, dude. The Zodiac Killer strikes again. I'm just kidding. There's a report that Ted Cruz is laying the groundwork for the 2028 presidential run. Blah. Gross. Absolutely the fuck not. Are you fucking stupid? Do you honestly think that Tucker Carlson interview went well for you, Raphael? It didn't, you dipshit. Go back on your fucking vacation that you're constantly on whenever there's a fucking national emergency. Like, go. Leave the Senate. You actually don't need to be in it. Just because you can get donors does not mean you're going to get votes. I'm like shocked every time you keep your fucking seat in the Senate. That's the Senate. Like, fuck you, Ted Cruz.
There was some news this morning from an Axios report that Senator Ted Cruz was laying the groundwork for a potential 2028 presidential run. Could I get your reaction to, could you see yourself supporting Senator?
Well, he's a friend of mine. I mean, I haven't spoken to him about it. It's a little early.
Lion Ted is a friend of yours? Didn't you call his wife dog ugly or something? Like, it was ugly. I don't think it was dog ugly. But basically,
It's 3.25 years. It's a long time. But he's a very good guy. He's a very good friend of mine. You remember we had quite a campaign against Ted, and it worked out quite nicely. Let's see, where are we? Oh, we're in the other one. But I'm not that surprised to hear that.
God, he's an insufferable twat, isn't he? Like, Jesus, fuck. What? I can't. What? I haven't. He's like, oh yeah, he's a friend of mine. Lie. I campaigned against him, and I won. Ha ha. Like the little bitch he is. And then I don't even know what he said. I don't want to address it. Okay, sorry.
The numbers that we've taken in, if you talk about investments, is trillions, not with a B, not with an M, millions, but trillions of dollars.
Yeah, unlike you, we have hearing. We have full function of our senses, most of us. And if we don't, we go to the doctor and ask for a hearing aid or a sight aid. Your motherfucking ass is too far, well, your head is too far up your fucking ass to actually get some fucking help. Because if you were getting help, you would not be doing this. You would not be president of the United States and a demented fool. That's crazy.
I can't imagine having to give that money back on something that we're allowed to do. And the one.
Well, imagine it, because the Supreme Court is not looking like they're about to side with you. Even the fucking handmaiden, Amy Coney Barrett, her bitch ass is like skeptical of the fucking terrorists and your fucking ability to fucking place them. And we all, like, you can't imagine it? Imagine it, bitch. And
Ones that are fighting us are countries, largely, they're back in countries that have been ripping us off for years, using tariffs to rip us off. And now we're able to defend ourselves. It really is a matter of national security, because economic security is national security. So,
no, it's not. No, it's not. Says the fuck who? You can't just say things and it's like gospel. No, it's not. No, it's not. Trade with other countries is not that's not national security. Like, the deal that you're getting on grapes is not the fucking, like, what are you talking about? Like,
I think you're going to see another thing happening. I think you'll see food prices. They've come down very substantially since Biden.
where, bitch? Where? Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the receipts. Where is it? Where are the cheap products? Where are the cheap food? Where is this, like, reduction of cost that you're keep on talking about? You can't just keep on saying it till people believe it, because they see with their eyes and feel with their wallets that that's not fucking happening, dipshit. Fuck you. I hate this bitch. God, he looks like fucking shit, doesn't he? Oh my God. Okay. I want to be like, Donald Trump has rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin. He has invited into the White House former members of Al Qaeda. He has set up deals with the Saudis. He's talking about another one here, and a lot of countries that you have had conflict with in the past. And he has treated my country, Canada, like absolute fucking shit. And you people have the nerve. I'm not going to say you people, but there's a lot of Republicans in Maine and Vermont who still haven't woke up and smelt the fucking coffee that the way that they vote is the reason that we're not coming anymore. You've placed so many different fucking tariffs on everything that outside of the Kuzma agreement has been fucking, like, you've tariffed us so fucking much. You've been threatening to invade us. You've been talking about making us the 51st state, annexing us. Like, all of this bullshit, like making fun of our leaders, getting butthurt over a fucking ad that wasn't even like a smear ad. It was literally just playing the words of an old president, like. And you had to have a tempered fucking tantrum, like the little whiny bitch boy baby that you are. Like, we have fought wars together. We have been your strongest ally for centuries, over a century. You treat us like shit and roll out the carpet for dictators, terrorists, murderous bitch ass leaders of foreign nations, and you can't even try to have a civil relationship with your closest neighbor and ally. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, are you planning to sell F-35s to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
And also, are you looking at doing a similar security agreement like you did with
Yeah, no, I am planning on doing that, yeah.
You're gonna
They
sell
want to
the
buy,
F-35s?
they've been a great ally. They've got to like us very much. Look at the Iran situation, what we did.
Zoran Mamdani is going to be a jihadist, Sharia lawist. He's a jihadist. He is a terrorist, cell, Muslim, mayor. He's going to blah, blah, blah. Hold on one sec. I'm going to go sell F-35s to the Saudis. Words mean nothing. Words mean nothing to these people. And the only time that they mean anything is when they're using them for their benefit. Because what the actual fuck?
In terms of obliterating, we obliterated their nuclear capability. Yeah, I will say that we will be doing that.
You're hosting
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia. Are
Good comment here. Saudi Arabia, 15 out of 19 hijackers. Khashoggi Khashoggi murdered. That not a good time to mess up. Bombing children in Yemen. Absolutely true, Peter, a patriot. And Trump's solution, give them F-35s. Can't have a Muslim mayor in NYC, but sure, let's sell them fighter jets. Republicans have no values whatsoever. Somebody says, Austin, they won't need to hijack the planes next time they do a 9/11. His words, not mine. America's such a joke. America's such a joke. America's such a joke. Because, like, I've spent my whole life being like, the military-industrial complex in America is often just a lie. They're being propagandized and lied to. And the CIA is a lie and just a terrorist organization. And I spent most of my life feeling that way. And there's been a barrage of propaganda, anti-terror, and for war propaganda. And you just keep on proving that I'm right. Like,
You posted on Truth Social last night. You urged House Republicans to vote in favor of this Epstein release bill they're going to vote on tomorrow. I just want to be super clear on your position. Do you want to see that pass the Senate? Would you sign that bill if it gets to your desk?
I do want to. Here's what I want. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats.
Right.
You look at this Reid Hoffman, you look at Larry Summers, Bill Clinton, they went to his island all the time, and many others. They're all Democrats.
Your name was mentioned more than both of those people in all of the emails that were just released by the Epstein estate through the oversight committee. Your name was the second most mentioned out of anybody, right after Epstein. The second most mentioned. Yours was the second most mentioned in the flight logs, I believe. Every bit of information that we've gotten from Epstein, the Epstein estate, Epstein emails, and the small amount of files that we got, flight logs that we've gotten, you have been all over every single inch of that shit. So don't try this bullshit with me. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's fucking raining, bitch. And you cannot keep on fucking lying about everything. You cannot keep on telling people the economy is great when it's not. You can't keep on telling people that the Epstein thing is a hoax and that it's all Democrats, and then not release it. Why would you not release it if it's all Democrats? That would be good for you. That doesn't make any fucking sense, dipshit. So, like, you can't keep on telling people things are one way when we know and see with our own eyes that they're another. Like, fuck that. Like, what? American people are not blind. They may be dumb, but they're not blind. Like,
All I want is for people to recognize the great job that I've done on pricing, on affordability, because we brought prices way down, but they're going way lower.
it's like, what's that abbreviate? DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse, victimize, offend, or something like that. The psychological studies that need to be done on this man. God, that'll be interesting to read when I'm 60, if the world lasts that long.
On energy, on ending 8 wars, and another one coming pretty soon.
Oh my God. He hasn't solved any single war. He's not solved a single war. Not one. Zero. I
believe. We've done a great job. And I hate to see that deflect from the great job we've done.
He is such a fucking idiot. He cannot, like, oh my God, he is so stupid. He is so not self-aware. It is so, like, you would hate for the Epstein files to deflect from what the good job you're doing. Bitch, you're literally deflecting from the Epstein files right now with the good job that you're like with the good job that you're supposedly doing that you're not. Like, don't talk to me about deflecting when you're in the middle of doing it. Fuck you. Like, you are so stupid. This is fucking rich.
Like with the Kennedy situation, with the Martin Luther King situation, not to put Jeffrey Epstein in the same category, but no matter what we give, it's never enough. You know, with Kennedy, we gave everything and it wasn't enough.
Nobody wanted that. And we were like, okay, fine, give the Epstein files. We asked for the Epstein files and you were like, okay, JFK. And we were like, no, but no.
With Martin Luther King, we gave everything and it's never.
A lot of people asked you not to give those out. Like, maybe the small part of your base did ask to give you those like a while ago. But even the family members of Martin Luther King came out and said, please do not release those. We do not want our father's life like drudged up again. Like, this is not our father should not be, our father's death should not be fodder for like the American conspiratorial bitches on the fucking right. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Never enough. We've already given, I believe the number is 50,000 pages. 50,000 pages. And it's just a Russia.
Given to who? To who? No, because no, you haven't.
Russia hoax as it pertains to the Republicans. Now,
oh my God. Are you really going to pull this bullshit? First it's a Democrat hoax. Now it's a Russia hoax. But like, really? Really? Really?
I believe that many of the people some of the people that we mentioned are being looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein. But they were with him all the time. I wasn't. I wasn't at all.
Motherfucker, you were friends with him for over a decade. We just got fucking confirmation that you were friends with him way past the time that you said you were. So you were already friends with him for a decade in like the 90s. And you said that you broke up with him in like what, the early 2000s? We just got confirmation like last week, motherfucker, that you had Thanksgiving with him in your first term. That you were with him in like 2019. Like, fuck you. Like, you're a lying ass bitch.
And we'll see what happens. What I just don't, unfortunately, like with...
I hate this motherfucker. Well, obviously, but like, Jesus fucking Christ. He used to be able to spin something good at least. Like, this is fucking bullshit. What is this? Like, dementia story hour at the fucking White House? Like, what?
Epstein to do is detract from the great success of the Republican Party, including the fact that the Democrats are totally blamed for the shutdown. You know, they cost our country hundreds of billions of dollars with that, at a lot of inconvenience. So I'm for any, I don't, they can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax.
What about Steve Bannon? Steve Bannon was all up in those fucking emails, you fat ass. What the fuck are you talking about? Your name was mentioned the second most after Epstein. And then right up after you guys is fucking Steve Bannon is right up there. So fuck out. Like, fuck off. Like, what?
I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time. Yeah,
bullshit, motherfucker. You haven't achieved anything other than strife and like violence and like revolt. Like,
of FIFA and possibly moving to another city, some games if you feel it's crime. Is there like a timeline that you would do that? Because these cities, there's sponsorships, there's economic impact for these communities.
Sure.
Is there?
Well, the governors are going to have to behave. The mayors are going to have to behave. In the case of California, you have a problem.
Oh, if they're not nice to you, are you going to take away their toys? Oh. What are you, a toddler? Like, they're gonna have to behave. They can't be meanies. They can't be meanies. Oh, we can't let the blue cities have the games if they're mean. Fuck you, you chicken shit motherfucker. What is wrong with you?
You have high crime, and you have a place that just suffered great fires and everything else, and they didn't do a very good job. And if we didn't go in from the crime standpoint, you would have had a disaster. It was not going to be handled properly.
The fuck are you talking about? Literally nobody fucking wanted you there. Like,
it wasn't able to be.
The economic...
Gotti is such a fucking lying ass fucking felon. Con man. This is just like, how do you even say this? Like, there's so many different pictures of you with him. You were in the flight logs. Like,
enough. We've already given, I believe the number is 50,000 pages. 50,000 pages.
No, you haven't.
And it's just a Russia hoax as it pertains to the Republicans. Now, I believe that some of the people that we mentioned are being looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, you.
But they were with him all the time. I wasn't at all. And we'll see what happens. What I just don't want...
God, he's such an idiot. What the fuck? This is so easily provably false. Like, what are you talking about? Like, there's so many different pictures of him, you with him. Like, what are you talking about? Oh my God. He was only mentioned over 1,000 times. Epstein, hardly knew him. 1,000 more times than Clinton. Like 1,500 times more than Larry Summers. 1,500 times more than Kathy Rumler. This motherfucker is so fucking stupid. Like, you can't even come up with a good spin or a good lie or a good, like, something to make you look better. That's so... Nobody believes you, dummy. You can't just rewrite history, what we all know to be true. The story for years that the right-wingers have been coping with is that you are this golden person that came into his life and got rid of him, exiled him from Palm Bay, like Mar-a-Lago, and you were such a good man that you stopped being friends with him after being friends with him for 15 years. And there's no way that you could have never known that he was doing all of these things in the 15 years that you were with him. But after you found out, after 15 years, then you did the right thing by not telling the police or not turning him in. Then you started being friends with him. And now he's just trying, and like, that's what they've been coping with this whole fucking time. The rest of us are like, okay, well, obviously he fucking knew. He's guilty as fuck. He's in the fucking, like, pedophile ring. Like, there's no if, and, or but. Like, no, there's no doubt about it. Fuck him. He's guilty as fucking sin.
Sorry. I love Los Angeles. If they want help during this, I would love to send in National Guard or whoever's necessary.
Nobody wants military on the street. Nobody wants to look out and see people in fucking Kevlar and fatigues with assault rifles. People don't want to see that, whether it's ICE or the National Guard. People do not want to feel like they're living in martial law. That is not how people feel safe. That is not the measure of a safe society, having military in the streets. That's actually quite the opposite. And what you are doing is not helping at all.
To help them. I want it to be great. I'd love it to be in Los Angeles. I love the place. It's a natural for Los Angeles. If we think there's going to be crime, if we are obstructed by the governor, and maybe he won't obstruct, maybe it'll be great. But I'd love him for him to call and say, we'd like to have some extra help, because
The fuck? He doesn't fucking need it. There's like over 30 million people in LA. I'm pretty sure they probably have enough people. I'm pretty sure they can find some people. Like, they do not need the National Guard to come in. Fucking Gravy SEALs come in, like Gravy SEAL Team 6. Like, fuck those motherfuckers. Nobody fucking wants the National Guards on the streets of their fucking cities. That is not how people want to live. You are so out of touch.
right now. But if we go in, there will be no problem. There will be no crime.
What's the message then to like local businesses who are considering sponsoring this?
Tell your governor to ask for federal help. We'd love.
What? Like, what does that have to do with what? This is insane. This is insane. You can't, like, this is insane. What the fuck?
Are you planning on also potentially launching strikes in Mexico or putting American troops or American personnel into Mexico to deal with it?
Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me.
Who the fuck asked that? Why did you stop? Don't give him ideas, you fuckhead. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's not a no.
Me?
What? You can't just bomb another fucking country. Like, that's not how things work. You cannot just bomb fishermen in boats the size of a fucking tiny little car in the Caribbean. You can't just do that. You can't just bomb people all willy-nilly. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, oh my God.
Whatever we have to do to stop drugs. Mexico is... Look, I looked at Mexico City over the weekend. There's some big problems over there. If we had to, would we do that?
Could you imagine if could you imagine if Mark Carney came out and started talking about your country like this? Could you imagine if Claudia Scheinbaum came out and started talking about your country like this? I wouldn't mind. It'd be okay with me to bomb them, to bomb their citizens, to not give them due process. We can just bomb them. Oh, Trump is. Oh yeah, we looked at what's going on in America, in Portland over the weekend. We saw what's going on at the ICE facilities. We're gonna probably have to bomb them. What? That's not how things work. You can't just say, and it would be like a 5-alarm fire. You guys would lose your fucking minds the second anybody would start to even think about talking about your country like that. But it is so, like, everybody else's country and their sovereignty and their people are meaningless to you. The rights of other nations are meaningless to you. And it has been evident with America for a long time. It's not just Donald Trump, because for decades you have been bombing countries because you don't like the way that they're run. You have been overturning governments through the CIA, backing coups, backing terrorist groups, because you want to decide how a country that you have nothing to do with is run, so you can exploit it and rape it for its natural resources.
What we've done to the waterways. There's almost no drugs coming in through our waterways anymore. Isn't it down like 85%?
It is, sir.
So why would you need to bomb? If it's down 85%, then why would you need to bomb them? Like, what? On their soil? I'm pretty sure that they can fucking take care of it. Like, that's not how things work. You don't have sovereignty over whatever land you can think of. Like, that's not... Oh my God. We actually have our own judicial systems and our own court systems. And if you want to fucking help with those things, maybe you can contact the leadership of these countries and fund it through the correct channels. Like, that's not... You don't get to dictate how every other country is ran. That's not how it works. You don't get to dictate how every city is ran. That's not how it works. Because there is certain rights that cities have. There are certain rights that nations have. Nations have a lot more rights. And you stomp all over them like it's your fucking day job. What the fuck is your problem?
I don't know who the 15% would be. It wouldn't be you.
No, that's for sure.
Just a bunch of sick fans. Like, this is fucking crazy. He's talking about bombing another country. Like, Jesus Christ.
And we're losing hundreds of thousands of people to drugs. So now we've stopped the waterways, but we know every route. We know every route. We know the addresses of every drug lord. We know.
So, you know the address of every drug lord? I don't believe you. First of all. Second of all, why on earth would you need to bomb them if you have their addresses, dipshit? What are you talking about? Like, you do not need... He said strikes. Military strike. What I like, strikes in Mexico. Yes. I'm sorry, I just had to make sure. Like, this is insane. If you know their addresses, why the fuck? Like, oh my God.
We know their address. We know their front door. We know everything about every one of them. They're killing our people. That's like a war. Would I do it? I'd be proud to. I'd probably go into Congress and say, hey, and you know what? The Democrats and the Republicans would both agree. Unless they're crazy.
Nobody would fucking agree to what the fuck you're saying. Like, no.
And they are a little crazy on the Democrat side. But
everybody in almost every single Republican, except for the crazy evangelicals, are saying that they want America first. Not Israel first. Not this country, that country, this country. Not invading whatever the fuck. They want you to pay attention to them. Not, like, and even the Democrats are not going to, like, most of the Democratic base is opposed to all the missile strikes that you've done in the Caribbean against innocent people, fishermen in tiny little boats that would never even could not fit enough, like, fuel on them to even reach America. So, like, fuck you. Or have enough drugs on them to kill a considerable amount of people. That is not, like, you're just bombing people. You're just killing people for no reason. Like, that's, like, you want to be Obama so bad.
I've been speaking to Mexico.
Like, the fuck you have. If you've been speaking to Mexico, then you would not be talking about fucking doing, like, launching strikes on them. I'm pretty sure Shine Bomb is not okay with that. The fuck? You have no respect for a nation's sovereignty. Fuck you. Okay, last one.
How they get their things here, how they get the drugs here, fentanyl, cocaine. Colombia has cocaine factories where they make cocaine. Would I knock out those factories?
Okay. Oh my God. If it's based on the same amount of intelligence that you have on all of these fishing boats in the Caribbean that are supposedly bringing drugs to a country that they would not even be able to reach in that boat, like, then you need to stop. Like, shut the fuck up. You're a lying ass bitch. Fuck you. I don't trust your information for fucking shit. And you should not be fucking... Oh my God. Knock out those factories. I would be proud to do it. threatens strikes in Colombia as well. You cannot just bomb he's talking about factories that make drugs. Do you know how fucking dangerous that is? Not only for the people, obviously it's really dangerous for the people inside making stuff, but just blowing up a drug den is not safe for any of the people around it. Like, what if I don't believe he's going to do this, and I don't understand why that fucking bitch ass reporter even said anything about it. But the casualties related to these attacks, and that's what they are, attacks. I am so tired of the bullshit. If a organization, or if a foreign government or organization attacks the USA, they're immediately listed as a terrorist organization, a terrorist nation led by terrorists. When America attacks countries all over the world in every single presidency, Obama broke the record for the amount of drone strikes done by a sitting president. He broke the record, only to be broken by Donald Trump after him in Donald Trump 1.0, when he increased drone strikes from Obama by 431%. You can look that up. He increased drone strikes after Obama left office by 431%. That was a big part of his legacy the first time, is that he increased all of the amount of drone strikes by 431%. And if you've ever heard criticisms of Obama for all the drone strikes that he's done, he's a war criminal, in my personal opinion. This motherfucker did it 4 times as much. Like, this is insane.
I would be proud to do it personally. I didn't say I'm doing it, but I would be proud to do it because
I don't understand how these people can talk about life as if it's like so meaningless. What the fuck is wrong with these people? I'm so tired of like people being treated like ants that can just be squashed under your fucking shoe because you are a bully and a fucking fascist, dictator, authoritarian, bitch ass fucking regime. And honestly, the buck does not stop with this motherfucker. You guys have been doing it in almost every single presidency for the past, 60 to 70 years? This is bullshit. You need to, this needs to stop. When this shit is over and this motherfucker gets out of the fucking presidency, or even now, someone needs to stop this. You need to stop dictating how other countries can exist. It has nothing to do with you. People's sovereignty has nothing to do with you. People's nations, how they run, what political parties they vote for, have nothing to do with you. Worry about yourselves. Jesus fucking Christ, it's so fucking frustrating. Jesus. Oh. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Keep your eyes open, because this bullshit is so fucking stupid. You can't believe a word this bitch says.